Well, hey everybody out there, it's me, Shaun, and I'm just testing the waters, as it were. And I know you can't see me, but I didn't even know that the camera would go on. I didn't know that I could be on live at all. So oy, I'm like fetching, pulling stuff down so everything looks good here. But anyway, I guess I'm on live. I don't know. I guess I am, and uh. I have to learn how to pronounce your name. Smurbo the Fleeb. Yeah, I'm on live. I can't believe it myself, actually, because, well, I wonder if you can hear me. You should be able to hear me. I'm really testing this out because I have a lot of problems with trying to figure out if I need. Uh, I'm okay. I'm okay. Oh, you can hear me. Great, great. um, Wow. I did not prepare anything because I didn't think I was going to come on live. I, uh, yeah, it's writing on the screen because this is like a test. It's VCAM or VCAM, which is a subsidiary of XSplit. So if I ever pay for XSplit, then that'll come off because this is just a test and they don't want you making really good videos and you haven't paid them. So this is just like how many times am I going to say test? This is just like a test to see if you like the platform or not. Um, yeah. So, and I broke my glasses, like I said in my last video, so I have to get really close up to the screen to read anything. But I'm real jazzed to be on. And especially here in the house, because what happened was I actually broke down and I got Wi-Fi. Yeah, I got Wi-Fi, and it's been like 5 years since I had Wi-Fi. I kept going to the library, as you probably know, because I put in another video. So yeah, I'm on live. I didn't prepare anything, but I was going to talk about how, should I say expensive or how nice Wi-Fi is. Because Wi-Fi is actually charging me, it's Optimum. Optimum is really charging me like $65 a month. And that's just Wi-Fi. That's not even cable. I don't even have TV. So I told them that I would look at how I like, yeah, I have Optimum. So what's I gonna say? Yeah, I don't have TV. I just have Wi-Fi, which is good for me because I've been in here 3 days, 2.5 days, just watching YouTube. The TV hasn't been on. There could be like Godzilla walking down Fifth Avenue, and I would never know it because the TV hasn't been on. And I just have regular TV with those old-fashioned. What do you call it? Those old-fashioned rabbit ears. But I wanted to hold on for 2 seconds because I did bring over. Oh, here it is. I did bring over the cable, the Optimum cable scratchings that I have. I can't show this because it has all my numbers on here and stuff like that. So it's $65 a month. I had to actually pay 124 up front, which really wasn't bad. It's 5G, and I guess you know how I complain about that. Yeah, I grew up on Godzilla. So the first Godzilla movie that was made was in 1962, and I hate to admit it, but I was born in 1962. So I didn't really see my first Godzilla movie until 1965, right? And I think King Kong versus Godzilla was the first movie that I saw. My mother took me to see, and I just fell in love with Godzilla. And during Thanksgiving, you're not old enough to know this, but during Thanksgiving, they would show every Godzilla movie that they ever had. Every monster movie they would have on either Channel 9 or Channel 11. So I kind of grew up on Godzilla and haven't seen it yet because I'm kind of waiting for the lines to die down because I hear it's number 1. Nah, yeah, I didn't see it yet. But I wanted somebody to go out. I actually asked somebody to go out and see it and write a critique for me so that I could talk about it online. But I probably will at one point go out and see it, or I don't know what will happen with me and Godzilla this time around. Oh, so anyway, it's Optimum TV. It's 24.99 a month, but it really isn't, because they ask you what speed you have and what are you going to do. And I know I'm somewhat of a gamer. I'm really not. I shouldn't say I'm a gamer because I've never done what do you call it, Halo and all those shooter games. I just did Star Wars Battlefront #1, and then I did Flight Simulator. Um, Nah, just Flight Simulator and lost my train of thought. And Star Wars Battlefront. And I'm about to buy Battlefront 2. So last night I was watching the little movie that comes with those games, and it was bloody well like 2 hours long. But I was up all night watching it, and I'm trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to get it, because I do have a small controller. So I like to think of myself as a gamer, but in actuality, no. um, so that's about it insofar as games are concerned. So oh yeah, so they said that the speed would be 5G, which I wasn't happy about, because how many videos have I made complaining about 5G and how it fries the air molecules in everybody's bloodstream. And then there's going to be even a new type of disease that the CDC is populating on, because of 5G. You know, all this electricity that is around us, even old-fashioned electricity that I can't talk anymore. That was just in the house. You know, like when you plug in stuff, that is really bad for human beings. And then you have the telephone poles outside, you have the electric poles outside if you live in rural areas. And that's why in Long Island, they had the women had breast cancer so high. It was so high a population of breast cancer out in Long Island, and that was the reason for it. Throughout the country, Long Island was the highest populace of women having breast cancer per capita in the country. If you want more to the left of the screen, I bet we'll be able to see your face better. I don't mean to break your train of thought. Oh, like this? Yeah, because there's no writing over here. And I got this hat on because I haven't cut my hair yet. I haven't figured out if I wanna how do you say, make it like a style, or whether I want to cut. It's hard to get in this corner though. Let me see something. That's better, right? Uh, yeah. So let's see what you said. Yeah, this is my notebook that I'm transmitting off of. So I haven't gotten a camera yet, but I was on. Um, oh, okay, cool. I was on Amazon last night also. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Amazon. I'm just doing a whole bunch of stuff at the same time because I'm so excited to be online, right? So I was on Amazon. I was looking at this camera set, video camera set, and it was I think it was $163. And it was a camera, one lens, a really good mic, um, no tripod, but it looked really cool. And I'm hesitant in buying stuff like that because years ago I bought a camera off of Craigslist. It was all right. Japanese guy, told me it was a small hole in the camera that let in light, and that's really bad. But it never really affected anything, so I don't even know why he bothered telling me that. I paid 6 bills for it. Then I went and bought a very expensive, what do you call it, tripod, right? I went to H&B or B&H, which is not a discount camera store at all in Manhattan, and had that, and then somebody stole it, all my stuff. So I'm reluctant in getting anything like that again, and I've got to be more like permanent in place where I live, because this is an all right place, but I'm renting a room. It's not even an apartment. Yeah, yeah. And I try not to cry over um, things, right? Because I think people are more important. And I say that for a particular reason because I was taking care of my mom who was an Alzheimer's victim. I took care of my mother 8 years in the house, and then another 5 years when she was in the nursing home. I can say that because I went every day to see her, whether I was working, I wasn't working, whatever the situation was. I was at the nursing home every day to make sure she was all right and stuff like that. And you really have to do that. But and I'm losing my train of thought. Shoot, what was I gonna say? Um, just being permanent in a place is really really good at this point. I'm really not working because of my medical situation, so I'm trying to figure out what will transpire insofar as my court case is concerned, um, insofar as SSI, SSD, stuff like that. So that hasn't really, I haven't had a decision on that yet. um, so I'm waiting for the courts to get in touch with me insofar as whether or not they're going to want me to work part time or if I'm going to get any type of subsidy. So, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was just SSI, SSD. I'm too young for SSI. So SSD is Social Security disability, and it's built on the years that you've worked. Um, and they tear you apart when you go to court because um, they they go back 15 years, but then they only take two or three jobs that you've worked on, and then the first thing they do is they pay if you've been on public assistance, they pay that out, and then they pay out any other bills that you have insofar as like higher education. Like I have a school loan that's out, and it was 25,000, but I got it down to 5,000. So I probably will get like $2. I can laugh about that. But people, what I was trying to say before, people are much more important than things or material things. And I was really surprised at myself when my mother and I lost our apartment in Manhattan because I had to place her in a nursing home, and we lost a place in Manhattan. I was lucky enough to get a basement apartment here in the Bronx, actually around the corner from where I am now, and we were there for 8 years, and then I finally had to place my mother in a nursing home. Yeah. Um, and so we lost a lot of things, a lot of business papers, a lot of pictures, uh, uh, like clothes, tons of clothes, and stuff like that. So and just the thought of having to pick up and move, and all the decision was on me, and uh, it was really, really a difficult time in my life. I don't think that I came out of it unscathed at all because to lose everything, but I look at it like this: clothes and business papers and pictures were not as important by no shape of imagination uh, as to have my mother with me, because I could have lost my mother. When you're dealing with a person who has Alzheimer's, I hate to use that word dealing, but when you have a person who has Alzheimer's, they wander, they get out, they wander, they get lost, and that happened to us more than a few times, and I had to quit my job. I was working in real estate. I had to quit my job because the police department kept calling me saying, "We have your mother," like twice every week. "We have your mother. We have your mother. Come pick up your mom." And then one time, the police officer called me and he says, "Look," and my mom was all right at that point. And he says, "Look, we know that you guys are really great and everything, because when we pick up your mom, she only talks about you and stuff like that." And he says, "You're lucky because your mother comes to the police department about the same time every time. But if she comes," it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he said that if she comes in like at 3:30, we're all gonna not gonna be here. It's a new crew that's gonna be on social work. All the cops are gonna be totally different because they change shift, and nobody's gonna know anything about you or your mom or anything like that. And they'll put her in social services, and you won't be able to find her because she doesn't know her own social security number." So I don't know. I'm not. He said to me, "I don't. I'm not telling you what to do, but if it was me, I would quit." And I quit that day. And the head of the real estate office tried to get me to stay. I'm like, I'm not staying because I cannot lose my mother. And this is not at all what I was supposed to come on and talk about. But uh, yeah, it's hard for me because me and my mom were best friends. We went to we France so many times together. I think about 8 different times together. We rented a farmhouse, and out 2 hours outside of Paris, and in a small farming community called Luchy, Luchy, which was 2 hours outside of Paris and an hour and a half, I believe, from Levallois, which is a nice suburb of France. So it was nice to be in a farming community because I'm a city guy. My mom's was from Wilson, North Carolina, so she was more used to. Even though she lived in New York City, a great percentage of her life, she came to New York when she was 19. Out of a band. She was in a jazz band, and she left the band and started living in Manhattan for all those years. But it was always nice to go to France to be on the rural side and stuff like that. And the people were really nice. I don't know what point I'm making, but anyway, and yeah, I really miss my mother. My mother passed in 2012, and May 10th, 2012. And that's still really hard for me because I don't have any family. And it doesn't matter how old you get, because when you think about your parents, with your mother, your father, you always think about them as if you're a little kid. I don't know why that is, or at least I do. And so, yeah, I really miss my mom. But, my mother lived to be 92 years old. So I always would say to her, Mommy, you lived like 2 different lifetimes, you know? And wow, she matriculated at Fordham University and was very big on education, and, you know, um, pushed me to go to Juilliard for classical music and all that. And I honestly can tell you all the stuff that I've done in my life. I think the most important thing was me taking care of my mother. Uh, and probably have said that in the car a couple of times. Um, but that was the most important thing. I think that's the thing that has given me relevance in life, is that I took care of my mother for like 13 years. Yeah. I Lucas C, what's going on? Lucy sounds lovely, but I love to get a break from all the concrete around here. Well, let me tell both of you out there that France is really simplistic to go to. There's a new airline called XL, and you can check it out. It's xl.com, and they have low prices. And they're really, really new. I never really heard of them until about 3 months ago, maybe 6 months ago. But if I was to go back to France, I would use that. We always used Air France. When I went, because I went 2 times by myself, I went to Marseille 2 different times by myself, and I used British Air. I like British Air a little bit better because I don't like to fly, and the captain will always explain to you that we're just about to hit turbulence, and I like that because I hate turbulence. I could never be a bird because I really I hate turbulence. But XL is really good, and I think it's 160 or maybe $180 one way. So that's really not a bad price. And then hotel, I would suggest staying in a small pension. And pension is a small hotel run by natives, and it's more like a bed and breakfast. It's somewhat like a bed and breakfast, and we never stayed in a big hotel. We never stayed in like a Hilton or anything like that. And then you have much more money to spend when you're out. If you don't spend money for your hotel and you don't spend a whole lot of money for your airfare, you have a lot of money to spend like on shopping and restaurants. And then it's a really nice vacation. I mean, I haven't been since 97, but we've stayed 2 weeks. We stayed one time 2 months. Um, like I said, we rented a farmhouse, so that was really, really cool. Hey, look at me, I'm talking about stuff. Didn't even prepare anything. Um, so yeah, so I always try to tell people that if they want to go somewhere, go to France because I know France the most. I'm trying to get to Brussels, Belgium. That's on my bucket list. Um, I'm smiling because uh, I love that I make videos because I'm such a ham, and I'm telling you guys all about my life. But when I went to Varnum University, not the Bronx campus, but the one in Manhattan, I I had two. I was a double major, um, computer science and drama. And wow, such a ham. And then before that, I went to Juilliard for classical music, and I started doing jazz shows in Manhattan. And then when I went to Marseille, um, there was like a restaurant, and they heard that a friend of mine told people that I was singing, that I was able to sing jazz, and French people really like jazz. So I started singing jazz in this one fish restaurant, and for the life of me, people ask me what the name of the restaurant is. I can never tell because I can't remember it. So strange, but yeah, I've done that. I've done. Uh, uh, like open mic nights in Manhattan, and that's always fun. You got to get your sheet music together and get up and be a big ham like I am. I'm a roasted ham. I love being in front of the camera, being behind the camera, doing the editing. As you can probably tell, it's not my thing because to sit here for 2 hours and to edit things, that's really, really hard for me because that's a lot of technical stuff. And I did go to Brooklyn Academy of Music they had a course for field, what did they call it? Field production, insofar as video is concerned. So I took a course from them, and I have a certificate, and that was a long time ago. Um, when I did that, I was living in Brooklyn. Hey, if you're editing your video, wait. Hey, if editing your video isn't for you, I might be able to. That would be really cool. Um, um, uh, I I'm stuttering now because I'm thinking, how would I get the production over to you? Because I would have to film it, hold it. Oh, it's simple. I'm thinking now. It's. I was thinking in film for some strange reason, and it's video. Um, yeah, and to do that because they like this one that I'm on now is called XSplit VCam. Everything is the wording for me is upside down. So and they want you to pay either 63. Everything is cost with me, cost. They want you to pay $63 for a year, or $39 for, I think it's 6 months, and it's worth it. I did have it before. If you look at two of my live videos, where there's one video where I did with Alzheimer's, and that was with XSplit. Um, but I'm just like real careful with stuff that I download because I've had viruses galore. Not on this particular. Well, I had one on this video on this computer. Um, and it didn't work for like a year, and I just put it away. I got Geeks Geek Squad told me we can't fix it, so I just figured, well, I just won't have a computer. And then one day, I just figured I'd fiddle with it, and it just came on. So it's a miracle. Um, do I have a Google Drive? Yeah, yeah, I have Google. Um, Yeah, I don't have that many apps on here. Like I have Amazon, which I'm about to buy. I get so excited about stuff. I'm about to buy Star Wars Battlefront 2. I think I said that. Yeah, I said that in the very beginning. I'm about to do that. But I was gonna sing a song, but I realized that I'm on YouTube and the copyright issues. But I was gonna sing a song that was correlated to what I was talking about. I'm just real elated that I'm on live and everything. And let's see, what do you play on? Um, insofar games are concerned, Origin. That's the thing. Oh my god, I'm so upset, yo, because I had Origin for like, I think I had Origin for about a year or two, and I was only doing Star Wars on it, and I got a Trojan, and it deleted my Origin and my game. And then when I went back and tried to talk to somebody in technical support, they said they couldn't even find me on Origin. It had totally erased everything, you know. So I'm like, I have it back again, but I don't have any games on it. Yeah, I know. I wanted to try Steam or was it Switch or Stitch? You can tell I'm old because I can't even I don't even know platforms. That's a shame, isn't it? But Origin seems to be really cool, and you could like okay, like I keep saying I'm gonna buy the Battlefront on Amazon, but I just read where these two guys bought the same game on Amazon. It took them, I think it said it took 24 hours for the game to show up, and they were all upset because they thought that Amazon had stolen their money. Um, oh, really? There was this guy from Jersey, this Pakistani guy. He's a real big gamer, and I saw him on Steam, and he was doing Halo, and he was doing like five different games. FIFA. Um, what was he doing on FIFA? He had football, soccer. So he was doing that, and I kind of tune in a lot to see what people are doing online. Um, Oh, well, Battlefront, because Battlefront is so old. Even the second one is so old. I think it came out in 2017. It's only like 5.99, and I'm the cheapest. Is probably why I'm no longer married because I am so bloody cheap. I'm a real good tourist because I'm real cheap, and I've been, like I said, I've been up 2.5 days, haven't really slept at all, and I won't go and buy. I won't go and buy anything because, well, first of all, when you're budgeted and you're not working and all that kind of stuff, and the situation that I'm in, I can't run out and buy insignificant things and then complain that I don't have food, because that stuff happens to me also. Sometimes, a lot of times, actually, for the last 5 years since I lost my job, there've been times where I was just like really starving. Um, Let me see. You can make loads of games on Steam, and they're really cheap too. Um, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna look at the app and go in and look at it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is telling me that you have Steam. So what games do you have on it? Um, See, I'm more into like um, let me see something. You can add me on Steam if you like. Show, hide, show. I don't know what I'm doing, but okay. Uh, okay. Achoo! Let me just see something here. Oh, okay. I didn't know I could do that either. Oh, okay. The profile picture is different. Oh, I'll find you. I'll definitely find you. I gotta. I'll remember it, because if I walk away from the camera, then it's dead air. Um, but I'm gonna definitely look, and if you say it's cheaper, then I'll definitely go for that. Because, like I said, Mr. Cheap, Mr. Cheapo here would really like that. Um, so, oh yeah. So what I was saying before about sorry about the. I just moved the computer. What I was saying about Optimum is they advertise on television just internet, 24.99. So I was all excited about that. And I mapped it out like 6 months before. I kept calling them, asking them questions, and like, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'll do it at a later time. So this time I decided to really go for it. And, the speeds are different. So the speed for the 24.99 one was like, I think 100 BPS. And the guy asked me, well, what are you going to be doing? I said, well, I'm going to be on YouTube making videos, and I'm a bit of a gamer. He says, well, if you're a gamer, you should get 200 BPS. So the price went up like to 65 a month. And what I didn't realize for some bizarre reason is that it says 24.99 a month for 1 year. It's no contract though, plus taxes, equipment charges, and fees. Um, so they get you with that, and I think that that's like, I think the FCC should really look into that, because cable, since it came into the existence, has always done stuff like that. I remember the first time I had cable way back in the early '80s, right? We would there was a situation where you could rent movies for like $3, but by the time they added the taxes and fees, it was $12. And so if you're looking at a lot of movies per month, I was like, what the hell is this bill? And he said, oh, well, it's $12. And I said, no, it's actually, that's false advertising, because you advertise it for $3.99 per movie. And then they said, well, it's taxes and stuff like that. And people won't get together because people feel that they really need cable TV, and you don't, because I look at it this way. I studied to be in show business. I studied to be in like doing commercials and movies and Broadway, right? And so I said to myself, the way I rationalize it is like, well, Shaun, you're not in the movie, you're not in the television show, so you don't really need to watch all these shows. So that's how I kind of rationalize it. I know people can't really do that, but they get away with murder. These different uh, uh, cable companies, you know, uh, Spoopy, yeah, cables. Yeah, companies like that are spoopy. Sounds like a Yiddish word, spoopy. Yeah, so the process were all that. And then I looked online last night, and there was a message for me, and they're already billing me for, I haven't had this for a weekend. They've already billed me 24.99. And they said, well, you can pay, it says on the notification, you could pay this part, and your full bill will be the 30th of June. And I said to myself, oh, I can pay the 24.99. I'm like, what are you doing? Just do what rich people do. Rich people do not pay their bills until they're due. Um, Poor people get a lot of money, like they win lotto and they want to pay everything, right? Rich people don't do that because of taxes, and bills can be a lot less per month or per year, depending on how the government is working insofar as finances are concerned. So if you go out and you pay, say for instance, let's say you get cable, and you say, well, I've got money, I'm just going to pay the entire year of cable. A rich person would never do that. Even though they have the money, they pay monthly. And sometimes they're even late with their bills. So I'm not going to pay 24.99 for less than a week's worth of service. I'm just going to wait until the end of the month and do it. Lucas C, I think sites like YouTube are going to take over cable TV. It's much less corporate and free, of course. Yeah, and you know what's really funny also, Lucas, is that uh, there's a new woman who's a CEO of YouTube, and she's integrated commercials. If you look at all your videos, there are commercials. There's some commercials you can delete right away. You can give the thumbs up or thumbs down on them, and then there's some you can't get rid of, like the beer commercials, and then there are car commercials, and you're just waiting for your particular video to come on, and that's YouTube getting paid by corporate. Do you think you'll do a question section in your live stream? Yeah, ask me questions. I'll answer anything. I'm real honest about myself, and I try to be open. Since I have this YouTube channel, I've been modulating for about 6 years now, and I think when I made that last video, the second to last video that I made That was real honest, and the diabetes videos that I make, um, that was really honest, and so yeah. Questions. Wait, let me get my coffee because I did make coffee. I'm kind of a coffee hound, as you know, or as you might know. Sorry about. So I got my canister full of coffee. I got this from CNBC. I went to remember I was been about 3 years now. I went to they were having like I was in the military, and so for the military they have special job sites or job fairs. And I went to a job fair, and that was one of the prizes that I got. So I really like that. And then this coffee, and it's not Bustelo, it is chock full of nuts because I can get chock full of nuts less money than I can get Bustelo. Sorry, hold on. This is why I'm so hyperactive because coffee. Let's see now. Hey, it is chock full of nuts. Yeah, chock full of nuts. And I want to sing a song, but again, I don't want to get hit with copyright infringement because they will, um, YouTube will hold your video and charge you. Um, and I know because that happened to one of my videos. I got on and I was singing a country song, and I think it was less than, it wasn't even out a half hour, and they had stopped the video, and then they sent an email to me stating that I owed X amount of money, and they wouldn't play it until I paid the money. And I had to get back to them and talk and tell them that I didn't know, and this, that, and the third, and it was a whole bunch of schmokus. Is there any way you could show us around your room? I'm laughing because I'm so embarrassed. I don't want to do that. Um, well, across from me, right across, which is why I keep looking up, um, is my, and I'm gonna do it. Is my window? Oh, let me check on my, because I might have to put in um, my power cable, and I don't know how I'm gonna do that because everything over here has to do with my Wi-Fi. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Right across from me is my window, which I have up, and it faces another building. You know where I live, so it faces another building. But this is how I get my light. My light. I need to get a light, which is why when I talked to you about getting the camera, my thing was to elaborate that I need a light source and editor. But I'm gonna do this real quick. This is my closet here. It's not my front door. It's my, and it's only a room, right? So that's my closet, and that's my, see if I can do that. That's my TV, and it's kind of jacked up because I've been up for like 3 days, so my room is kind of jacked up. And over here, that is a chair um that I bought that I leaned back on, and it fell apart with me in it. And my ass was on the floor, so I decided to make like an artistic piece out of it. And so that's the backboard. And then this part is one of the legs that I put up on the wall. You know, I always try to do DIY projects. And that thing up there, right there, that's my rabbit ears that I was telling you about for my TV. And that's my subway map. Everywhere that I go, I get a subway map. I don't know why, but I do that. And then that's my front door. That's my door. I'm going to show you because there's nobody up here. There are there are three other guys that live on my floor. Um, and they're all right. And that's my one of my DIY projects, and that's Reynolds wrap that I put, and I did that for Christmas. And then over here, it's so hard to show. Over here, this is another DIY project, and I have a very short video showing that, and that's just Perrier bottles, plastic Perrier bottles, and that's real pineapple. And I need to hurry up and eat that because I know it's decaying right there. And that is sitting on top of my headboard, and that's my um, thing where I go grocery shopping, and my mirror right there. And I'm gonna open this door for you, and this is showing. And it's gonna get real dark because I don't have any lights on. And this is my kitchen, and this is the new trying to show you. This is my new stove that I made a video about. That's the Maytag stove. Over here is somebody else's room. I don't really know that guy. This is my microwave, and then around here, and this is my Frigidaire or refrigerator. And I need to go. It's really funny. I always talk about being starving to death, right? I can really eat, and I just went grocery shopping um, 3 days ago, just before I went crazy with Wi-Fi. And I need to go grocery shopping again because I don't eat meats. So I buy eggs, like I'll buy, and I'm going down the hall, and this is the bathroom that I'm the only one that ever cleans this bathroom. So the other guys really, really enjoy that. And I really, honestly, don't mind cleaning because, first of all, I like a clean place, and um, you know, that's how it is. And this is another guy's room, and he actually has a studio. So I never really see him. He has his own bathroom and kitchen and stuff like that. And then if I open this door, this is how I get out, and like that. And then I just go down the stairs, and then you're not going to be able to see that, I don't think. Just go downstairs, and then I'm out of the building. So that's the grand tour. And so it can be really quiet here. I really like it because it is quiet. And like I said, my room is kind of jacked up. My room is definitely jacked up. Hold on for 2 seconds. I want to close this door again because when the guys come in, like the guy I was telling you about, the last door that I showed you, when he comes in, um, he's quiet and he's respectful and stuff like that. Nobody plays any loud music and no parties and stuff like that. I tend to be very territorial, so I can hear everything that goes on. I can hear when people come in. I can hear when they go in their rooms. I can hear when they go in the refrigerator. And my pet peeve is, don't go in the refrigerator. You don't have anything in there. I don't say that to them because I'm really solamente, and I don't like causing confrontations and stuff like that. Nice place. You're lucky to have somewhere to settle. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was my grand tour. And again, I want to sing a country song. For everything that I do, there's a country song that correlates to it. A la familia. I'm so hyperactive because I'm on TV. I'm on live. I didn't think that would ever happen, and I got my coffee. So and I don't drink. Like I don't drink beer or. I'm making that face because I like champagne, but being that I'm a diabetic, and I have to say things honestly because I don't want people to think, oh, I make all these protective videos, but then I do other things. I don't, and that's the one thing about being diabetic. You cannot drink because everything that's alcoholic is really turns into sugar. Um, Great, so thank you. A toast to YouTube, to you guys for checking in on me. I'm really shocked because you know it's like after midday, and I didn't think it's like 5:30 something. Uh, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so the guys they all work real hard because their rent is very expensive. Like that room that I showed you over there, it's a studio where he has his own bathroom and kitchen. It's like, and everything is really small. Like he has a miniature size refrigerator. It's like 5 foot, 5'8", like so it's my height, but it's really like small. It's like I don't even know how to call it. It's like petite. So so here's the thing about it. What I'm trying to get at is when these guys start coming in, I'm probably gonna log off because the walls are paper thin and I'm very shy. Like nobody knows I have a YouTube channel here, and I don't like people hearing that I have um, hearing what I think is my life or my business or whatever. And I never ever talk on the phone. If people communicate with me, they just text me. So I never really do anything like that. I imagine so, considering the city. that you live in, hey, they might subscribe. Um, I would prefer that they didn't subscribe because, like, I put a lot of personal things on here, like, and you know, um, I'm a big ham, but I'm also very ultra private, and I don't like people. And like I said, the walls are very thin, like very, very thin. So thin that when the guy is home next door and he turns over in his bed, I can hear him. Um, uh, and I'm pretty sure he can hear me in here also. So that's why I would, like, if I hear them starting to come in from work, I'll probably just like shut down. But I've been on for a good while, and now that I found out that I can um, get on live, and you guys are, I'm so appreciative that you guys are online and you're actually talking to me and watching this video, this live presentation. I'm really elated, and it'll push me actually to buy the editor. I'm losing my sunlight. It'll push me actually to buy my editor. It'll be some time before I buy a lighting kit or another camera or anything like that. Um, uh, oh, the other live stream didn't really come through. Let me move over a little bit like that, um, because I was trying to get on live um, through XSplit. But what I didn't know that is that I have Chrome, and I forget the other platform that people use to get online, but I have Chrome, and I just got onto YouTube and I clicked on that little icon that looks like a movie camera, and it said live, and I didn't think that it would work. So I to get rid of all this writing that's on here and this logo and stuff, I would have to pay, which I'm like I said, I love that I'm on live, and I'm definitely gonna I'll do it, but not like tomorrow or anything like that. But now that I found that I can do it, and I've got an audience, that so I definitely will do it. I definitely will do it and make more presentations. And you also told me about APA, the type of how do you say, presentation to talk about things. I'm really losing my light, to talk about stuff. So I'm really going to do that. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm really excited about doing that. And words have not been made that could describe how excited I am just to be on live. And how many times have I said I'm a big ham? Yeah, um, so, like, my landlord knows I have a YouTube channel because I mentioned it once or twice to him, but I didn't give him the address of it because, like I said, I think that I talk about personal things on here, and I don't want people feeling sorry for me. I don't want people really to get into my business because I never really know within the 45 minutes that some videos are, even though I do have a platform or something that I'm going to talk about, or I think about something for 3 days, and I'll write down a script. Uh, I never know if I'm going to go off of that script and start talking about personal things. Like, I didn't know I was going to talk about my mom. I didn't know that, I was going to talk about Paris and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm excited too. I'm so jazzed. Uh, and I'm glad I did the little tour for you. You did not see my bed because um, I I've been up for 3 days and I have not made my bed, which is really unlike me because it's such a small room. I think it's 18 by 12, or maybe 22 by 18. I think that's what the room size is. I've been in smaller rooms. Um, but I'm really appreciative that I have this. I'm trying to keep it. I've signed now my third lease for this particular room. And like I said, I clean the bathroom. I make sure that the kitchen is clean. I don't leave dishes overnight. In fact, and you've seen my cooking videos. When I cook, I wash the dishes. I wash the pot right then and there. And by the time I get to my food, it's really cold because it's a rooming. I don't want to say it's a rooming house because on this level alone, it's like me, the guy next to me, and two more guys. So it's like four of us up here, and well, actually three because the other guy told you he has his own stuff. Um, I'm very much aware that people have to use the same thing that you're using. People have to use your refrigerator and the stove and the microwave. So I keep it clean because I'm here the most. I'm not working, unfortunately. Um, Hopefully, I can get my physicality together and do a part-time job, and I'd really like that because I really, really want a car. Ah, there, I said it. And it doesn't matter to me that it would be a secondhand car because I had a Toyota Cressida before, and it was only four-cylinder. It wasn't a six. It wasn't a V6 or anything like that that I'm looking at constantly online. But that's what I'm kind of targeting for. The other thing that I really want is you like the cooking show, Black Seed. Yeah, salam alaikum. Walaikum assalam, rahmatullahi barakatuh. So I have salam on now. And I want to say, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I have something like 36 videos. I make a video and upload every Tuesday. This is really my first live presentation, and I'm so excited and jazzed. And I've got great people watching me. And one guy I know, I can say I know you personally, right? I can say that. And so I think it's a great channel. I'm always trying to achieve and to make it better. I was just talking to the guys I'm trying to do an editor. I'm trying to get a lighting facility so I'm better lighted because I use the sunlight. Open my curtains and I use the sunlight for lighting because it's kind of dark in here. And I'm thinking about getting a camera. So I want to do that, but everything step by step. Everything really slow. Yeah, black seed oil. What the heck did I just say? um, God, I gotta go back and remember now. I said that I'm very appreciative that you guys are on, and that um, uh, I said, oh, I kind of can say that I know you personally, right? That's what I said. Black seed oil. That's what I want to talk about because I do have a video about black seed oil. There is a Middle Eastern population that's very far from where I live, and they have a store that I like to go to get black seed oil. And I have not been there because like it's a long way. So to go over there, it's a long effort. But yeah, black seed oil cures everything except death. And I have a lot of issues going on with me and physicalities and stuff, diabetes. And the black seed oil has brought down my blood sugar so well. I want to say that I'm cured of diabetes, but I don't want to be so arrogant as to say that. So I'm going to wait like a year to make sure of it because I've seen the numbers. The numbers were outrageous when I first was diagnosed. It was like 300. And the doctors were always afraid I was going to go into a diabetic coma or diabetic shock. And I've had very bad issues with diabetes being I forgot the word for it, incontinent, where you urinate on yourself. So it was that bad. But I've noticed over some time now that um, like I can eat different things, and I like right now I'm an honest guy. I do have ice cream in the house, and I eat that sparingly. And when I buy pie, it's either strawberry, blueberry, or there was another one, rhubarb. So these are all fruits that I eat, um, and they're very good. Like strawberry, blueberry are very good for you if you're diabetic. And I'm looking around because I need to connect my power source because my computer just said that my power is going low. So let me jump out. Uh, Yeah, yeah, I try to eat a lot of green vegetables. If you look at my cooking videos, and I'm gonna make a cooking video soon. Hold on, I'm really gonna make a cooking video really soon. Um, but to bring a computer into, I don't know how the hell I'm gonna do this. To bring a computer into, um, shoot, sorry, to bring the computer into the kitchen is like really, really hard. I'm looking for a plug because with all this Wi-Fi equipment, it is real difficult to plug anything in. And the shoot, I might have to cut the video kind of short because I'm running out of power. And the extension cord that I have is doesn't have the three prongs. So what I might do is I might have to substitute power for lighting. What am I talking about? I'm talking about that I have to move everything now over closer to the outlet if I want to stay on board with you guys. Um, uh, so I'm on the other side now of the room. So it's going to look kind of dark. And there, that's the window that I was telling you about. And now you can't see my face because the lighting is wrong. Maybe if I do it this way, a little better, right? Not that much better, but a little bit better. Um, Change of scenery. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Sorry. Trying to maneuver myself so that I can be seen and I can be on because once the power goes, that's kind of it. So I look mad red, which is all right to look red, el rojo. But I'm also you also can't see me. But anyway, yeah. What is this that I've tapped? Yeah. So I have my power source on, and that's it. So let's see. I kind of lost the Salim person because I see you have two people on. But that's okay. That's all right. I'm real appreciative for being on. So what was I talking about? Um, Camera, audio, lighting. Oh, vegetables. So right now, before I came on, this is cucumber. So before I got my coffee, um, I was eating cucumber and my carrot, same color as my shirt. The carrot because um, it lowers your blood sugar, it keeps everything real at a even strain, and so I don't eat meats. I well, you know, there's always a but with me. I'll eat like a chicken once a month, right? And that's to keep up the protein and keep up my strength and stuff like that. Because I really have not found, and I just bought protein drinks also. I have not found a vegetable that really keeps up my protein. I have stuff that foods that keep the blood sugar at a minimum, which is always good. And I'm always eating. I am such a snacker, man. If I could tell you, I really like pistachios. I went out and one time I got Doritos. You saw that video, and that's not really great for me because of the salt and everything has sugar in it. Even if it has salt in it, it also has sugar in it. So the Doritos were not a good choice for me, but I don't do that every day. I just did that. I think it was about two times that I did that. So I don't want to say that I'm a health nut. There's always an opportunity for me to do better insofar as eating is concerned. The black seed oil does help. I'm gonna have to go out and get another jar. I usually get, well, I have gotten, I think it's a 16-ounce jar, which cost me about 23.99 at the at Habibi's when I went over there. and I'll drink like tablespoons of that throughout the day, maybe anywhere from 3 to 5 tablespoons a day, and that helps with diabetes. And I got some other stuff going on. Um, so I'm really going to have to go out, and I want to do a video also on. There's a medicine that I was taking. It's a supplement that I was taking a while ago. It's made from Venus flytrap uh, plants. You know, the plant that eats live insects. They have an extract, and it cures cancer. So um, that's something that I should really get, as opposed to getting um, the game thing that I was telling you about, because that I was taking for a long time before I knew it was diabetic or anything, and then I just stopped taking it for some bizarre reason. I don't know why. Um, yeah. Oh, did you? Um, yeah, yeah. First of all, the Doritos. I should have really made a better video with that. Um, And I'm like, nobody's gonna care about Doritos. So I didn't even listen to it. Like I've said before, I make these videos, and if I look at it one time, once I've made a video, once I film it, I'm doing really good, because even though I'm a big ham, and you see the way I'm talking, it's very easy for me to talk. I don't like the way I sound, and the guys are coming in, so I'm gonna really make this short now. Um, I don't like the way I sound, and most of the time, I don't like the way that the lighting is in the room and stuff. Um, so the Doritos video was all right, but I like to, if I'm gonna do a food video, I would like to go into depth. And I kind of advertised also that I was gonna do a video about being able to uh, make gluten-free, sugar-free, like cakes and cookies and stuff like that. And I haven't done that either, because the supermarket that I go to, which is Key Food, doesn't have gluten-free nothing. Like I said that before. And I went to another supermarket, hoity-toity supermarket, and they have a real big selection of stuff, but all that stuff is very, very expensive. Um, hey, you'll get used to voice on video. No, I won't. No, I won't, because I'm very conscious the way that I sound. I have a high voice, um, and I always thought, like when I was in high school, people were like, "Why are you talking so loud?" Or "Why are your voices like this?" Or "Why?" Because I remember all the guys' voices were changing, right, and my voice kind of stayed the same. Um, and what happens is, I always think that people can't hear me, so I elevate my voice so that people can hear me, even when I'm at work and stuff like that. I had a supervisor. I was working at Banana Republic. She says, "Wow, Shaun, you really talk loud." I said, "Yeah, I do." Um, and my timbre is high, because I always think that people can't hear me, so my voice is always up. But um, like if you're a family member, you're living with me, or whatever the situation is, my voice is lower, because I feel that, well, first of all, you're in close proximity to me, and that's like the real me. So if I'm out and I'm working and stuff like that, I always try to be up and elated and funny and oy vey. So it's just a schmokus. I just made that word up. Of stuff that I try to be, but in trying to be like elated and happy and Mr. Exuberance and Mr. Personality over the decades, my voice is like this, and I don't like it. I'd rather sound like this. I'd like to have a lower. I would like to have a lower timbre, um, and when I sing, it's even. Uh, I kind of think of myself as a baritone when I used to sing. Excuse me, but I think it's a higher baritone, if that makes any sense. Um, Oy vey. Oy vey. Yeah, yeah, that's Yiddish. Um, that I got from my mom. So my mom was, because like I said, she passed. She was half Jewish. My maternal grandfather was Jewish white from Scotland. So sometimes I'll say Yiddish words. I don't read Yiddish. I don't speak Yiddish. Uh, I don't keep kosher at all. And I had actually, growing up, I had friends who were Black Jews, and they kept kosher, and they always wondered why I never kept kosher. And I went to temple with them, Ethiopian. Wow, I'm really telling you a lot about myself. I went to Ethiopian temple, which Ethiopians are Jewish, and it was all right. It was just hard to get to in Manhattan, 125th Street, and it's really sad because the particular temple that everybody used to go to, everybody who's Jewish, is a bunch of Black Jews. Anyway, uh, we all used to kind of go to that particular temple, 124th Street, and I think it's Amsterdam in Manhattan, and it was built in I think it was 1865, and it was a relic, which means you couldn't change anything about it, and it was huge, and they couldn't keep up the rent. So I don't even know if it's in existence anymore. I don't know if it was torn down or whatever, but we used to kind of go there, and I wasn't really that much into into going to temple at all, because like I said, it was really hard to get to. Um, Oh, okay. So you said I've been on. Well, thank you so much. I kind of enjoy talking about myself. Um, it's going on an hour, so you think I should shut down and just like do another live stream at another time, or it's up to you because you two guys are the only guys that are online, and that's great because, like I said, I keep saying that I'm real appreciative. Uh, uh, I could stay on. If I'm not boring you, you know, uh, what do let's see, whatever works for you. Oh, okay, keep going. All right, very cool. Um, yeah. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So sometimes I come out with like oy vey or ik vegs me or schmolkes or I throw around. Oh, what I wanted to say also is that I've had, and if you look at one of my dream videos, I've also dreamt, I think the three or four, maybe two or three different dreams that had one particular rabbi in, and it was a recurring, I'm gonna say character or person in my dream. So this particular rabbi was in all of the dreams that I had. So I've never really, prior to that, I never really had a recurring person in my dream. And since that time, I've had one, two, three, four. I've had four recurring dreams, which are I won't even go into that because they're really bizarre. Those dreams that I'm thinking about now, but the one with the rabbi in it, like I had a dream where my mother was, like I said, my mother passed, where my mother was refurbishing a table, and the rabbi was teaching her how to put the varnish on. And that wasn't really bizarre to me because in life, my mother really did refurbish tables, and we had sorry, we had paneling in the house, and you would think that being a dude, I would have done most of the work. No, I sat down and my mother did all of the paneling in our apartment, and re- not restored shutters, but put them together. Like we bought shutters from Sears. Sorry, we bought shutters from Sears. She varnished them and put them together and put them up in front of the window. So I just sat there and I watched. I was like 15 or less. No, I was a lot less than that. Maybe 12 or 13. So it wasn't anything for me to see my mother refurbishing something or trying to put together a real big record player that we had that belonged to a family member, my uncle from the 1940s. And So there was always soldering going on, or woodworking going on in an apartment in New York. So uh, yeah, so in the dream, my mother was refurbishing a table, varnishing it, and the rabbi was teaching how to do it. Then I had another dream where the rabbi was telling me that I was in the Torah, and which is the holy book of Jewish people. It's the five first books of Moses. The Torah is, and in the dream, the rabbi was telling me that I was in the Torah, and he actually picked out my name in this particular dream in the Torah. Then I had another dream that I was in Israel, and I was sitting at a in a restaurant, and the rabbi, same rabbi was watching me, making sure I was all right and that nobody bothered me. Very uh, paternal uh, kind of dream there. So I have Jewish bloodlines, I guess you could say. Uh, yeah, yeah, I believe that my mother is still with me in my dreams. Um, and what can I say about that? Um, I feel a comforting when she's in my dreams. I'm very protective of her in my dreams also. And also, I can say that at different levels in her life, um, she appears to me uh, at a particular point where she was in her 90s and very, very sick. And then there are other times where she's like in her 40s, you know, and we're going places, or she's telling me stuff, or there are other times where she's just outside the room and makes an appearance. And I think that that is more real than a dream. I also believe that dreams are real, but we won't go into that. So it's more like she's visiting me, and it's her soul is visiting me. And it's happened only on two occasions where I believe that it's an actuality of visitation. Um, um, and it's because I worry so much about keeping my head out of water because I have been homeless. I've been on the street. And that's not due to me doing drugs. I never did drugs. I never was an alcoholic. I didn't lose my place or my job because of that. I only lost my job and my place because of my physicality or my illness, right? So I've been homeless. I've been times where I slept on a train, slept in uh, Riverside Drive. I was going to say a park, but it's more like Riverside Drive, and really have been uh, hungry. Thank God I haven't been too dirty. God has always blessed me so that I've always not had a great percentage of food during the times where I was homeless, but enough so that I wasn't really hungry, if that makes any sense at all. So like I never had groceries when I was on the street. Obviously, I never had groceries, but I could always find a place where a soup kitchen or a pantry or whatever where I could eat like lunch and then dinner and then go and wherever I was sleeping at that particular time, sleep and then finally I decided to be in a shelter, and that shelter system it can be really, really hard um, if you don't keep to yourself. And sometimes when you keep to yourself, uh, people want to know who you are uh, because they think you're the police, or they think that you're watching because they have issues with paranoia, and they confront you. So I've always, in the times that I was in a shelter system, I've always kept to myself. Uh, I think that I'm going to give a plug to Samaritan Village. I'm just reading what you wrote. It's great to hear someone was looking out for you and that you overcame the hardship. And that's only with the blessings of God in all actuality, because I never, I think that I was never strong enough to get out of it myself. Like I never was able because of my illness, latch onto a job and kind of claw myself out of homelessness. It was always the blessings of God, and I always thanked God at that time and presently that I had what I had, whether it was food, clean shelter, a place to bathe, a place to go to the bathroom, and you don't think about that stuff. We all take things for granted, but once you're homeless, you realize, where the hell am I going to go to the bathroom? It's different for guys. We can just whip it out and pee anywhere, right? But then when you really got to go to the bathroom, when you got to do number two, that can be really hard. If you're not in a shelter system, and I try to keep myself out of it as long as possible. So I've been to dirty ones, I've been to clean ones. Samaritan Village is about the cleanest one, with a lot of protection for the guys, as much as possible, and with healthy meals and stuff like that. But you have to go see your counselor. You also have to get in the mode of this is not where I want to be next week, next month, next year. The mindset with me was always, okay, I'm here now. I hate it here, but what am I going to do? It's given me a platform to sleep, to bathe, to eat. So now I have to get myself out, which means going to a job counselor, going to make sure that people know that you're alive. Public assistance, that you're getting that you're getting food stamps, that you don't flip your food stamps, because and I say that because a lot of guys do that for whatever reason. That's their own business, but I'm just saying, I never did that. I'm going to read that in a few seconds. But so giving grace to God and thanking God, because God made it possible for things to come to me, for people to counselors to know that I was serious in getting out of the shelter system, no matter what illness I had. Making sure that I was able to see physicians, and I've changed a lot of different times with doctors, and all of that. So nothing goes, like, say for instance, you can't force the hand of God to do something. You can't rush God and say, oh, I'm in a bad situation. I really want an apartment. I want this. I want a job. I want. You can't do that. You can say, thank you, God, for the things that you've given me. I have food. I have clothes. I'm clean. I'm healthy. And then things progress from there. So if God is for you, nothing can be against you. And I've had that mindset since for all my life, first of all, and even more importantly, or just importantly, as in the 5 years that I've not been working, and that's been like a real traumatic time. That I be grateful and see the gifts that God has given me. Um, uh, it's sad that you had to go through that, but I'm sure it helped you to make you a better, well-rounded person. Yeah, because I can say this honestly. I grew up in a middle-class family. I went to private schools when I was a kid in my teenage years. So much so that it can be very expensive. And my mom's like, you know what? In your high school, you're gonna have to go to public high school. Because I just cannot afford to keep you in private school. So I didn't like it. And then when I went to public school, I went to Julia Richmond in Manhattan, East 67th Street. It was really cool because there was a theatrical program there. You had to keep your grades up, but there was a theatrical program there. So I got involved with stage singers, with the drama department, and doing performances and stuff like that. And that was always cool. So going from private school where kids were snobs because their parents were doctors and lawyers and all that stuff, to going to where people were just like normal. Everybody was in the same situation, studying and trying to pass tests and stuff like that. So yeah, I can say that even though I grew up in a middle class family, and we went to, because I talked about France, but we also did civil rights movements, and so my mother wanted to make sure that even though I was going to private school, that I didn't
This is going to sound bizarre to you, but that I didn't see myself as a little white kid in black skin. What do I mean by that? Because when you go to private school, it's very easy to rub up against kids who have parents who are doctors and lawyers, and they make $100,000, $200,000 a year. And even though your parents don't are not like that, it's very easy to become a snob. Did I become a snob? Probably, maybe. I went to Cathedral School for Boys, all boys school on 110th Street in Amsterdam and Manhattan. Um, and uh, but we also, in my younger years, my mother also took me to march on, and this is like the 60s and early 70s, 60s. Also went to March on Washington for civil rights movement, made sure that I knew as a black kid, black boy growing up, that I would have to face a lot of issues being a black man. And I'm so appreciative that my mother did that for me because of the times that I'm having now and that I had in the recent past. I don't think that I would have been able to psychologically survive and physically survive if I didn't have that background where my mom took me to these civil rights movements where you couldn't in the early 60s where black people couldn't vote or black people had to sit in the back of the bus. And I only got the back end of that being that my mother was an adult. She grew up in the South where you had to ride in the back of the bus. You couldn't vote. There was a black and white uh, water fountain in Wilson, North Carolina, where if you were black and you drank from the white water fountain, you were either arrested or definitely somebody would say something out of their way to you to make you feel, mad small. So even though I grew up in somewhat modern times, I'm very much aware that I am a black person, a black man, and the issues that people go through now with bigotry and racism and divide and conquer that this country is continuing to go through. It's not a modern country at all. When you think of all the issues that we have to go through, whether you're black, Latino, white, Asian, Middle Eastern, Native American, or whatever background you come from, you go through a certain amount of bigotry in this country because of who is in power and who runs the government. Especially now with this particular administration, I swore that I would not make a live presentation, a political live presentation. Um, but just trying to answer your question, I sound like I sound because of my educational uh, uh, prowess or whatever. Uh, but I very much see the things on the street that sometimes people don't see. And I understand also that young people, young men especially, I think that there's so much violence in New York City proper because of people, young men don't know how to deal with a lot of this bigotry that happens on subways, on buses, when you walk down the street and somebody steps on your foot and doesn't say, excuse me, because they turn and they look and they see you're black. And they could be from a different country and they can live in New York and be a New Yorker, and you still don't get the respect that you think you deserve. And you do deserve, everybody deserves a level of respect because we all do the same thing. We all eat, we all go to the bathroom, we all stink, we all, have jobs, we all want money and have a great existence and family and stuff like that. And young people cannot fathom why, if they're going to college, if they're trying to do the right things in life and they have a job and they're doing everything to propagate themselves and be an integral part of society, but still are seen as a second class citizen, that boggles the mind. Uh, and being that I'm a little bit older and have the background that I have with the marches on Washington and the civil rights movements and reading a lot, uh, I see that people can be friends to you on a job and yet they'll talk about you behind your back or um, say for instance if like during the OJ trial, OJ Simpson trial, I'm just using that as an icon. The country was divided, and a lot of Black people lost what they thought were white friends, because what Black people don't understand or cannot fathom is that we are really friendly. If we're a friend to you, we're friend thick, thin, cold, summer, detrimental situations, whatever. We're going to be your friends. If you're hungry and you don't have food, if you're white and you don't have food, you can always come to a Black person's house if we know you and eat. They're very different. White people are very different in that if something as, I don't want to say minute, but if something happens that's racially charged or racially motivated, they'll drop you as a friend, and you could be living next door to them. They could protest to be your friend, and something racially happens, and then um, they're just as redneck as the people in Mississippi or in the deep South. And you could be living in New York City, you could be in California, you could be in Vermont or whatever in the Midwest and have what you think are really close ties. And that's the basic difference between white people and Black people. We're very genuine. I think that we've changed because we've been through so much over the last 40 years as a race. Um, the other thing that happened in this country is the government wanted to see how they could divide and conquer. So they started taking down statues. You know, a lot of colleges and universities in America are named after uh, white people who were like generals in during the Civil War, or owned slaves, like Washington, who became the first president, obviously, had over 300 slaves. You know, when Washington got married to Martha Washington, George Washington's father gave him 12 slaves as a present, as if we were property. So we have that stuck in the back of our minds. And when issues come up and we have what we think is a close white friend, what Black people kind of don't fathom is that back in their minds, they're very much aware that their ancestors owned slaves. I don't know what avenue I was going down talking about that, but yeah, times have changed, um, but in many ways, America is still the 1940s, 1950s type of uh, mentality that it was in the past. We have technology. You know, we have a great percentage. We have cable. We have everything. I mean, I don't even have to mention the type of technologies that we have. But in essence, the government is still running things uh, as if it's the 1950s, where where there was segregation. Because look at the president. The president's in his 80s. There was a time where we did not have presidents who were in their 50s or in their 40s. You know, look at Clinton. Even though Clinton was white, he was a younger president. Barack Obama was a much younger president and a Black man, which was so beautiful for the world because we were the only country with the amount of Black people that we have here outside of African countries that never had a Black president. We still haven't had a woman president. Um, but in essence, I think things could be much more progressive if we had younger president, if we had a woman president, and like if our presidency, if our government, and it's happening now, reflected the people that we have in the country. Like we have two Native American people who are two American Native women, I think they're Cherokee, who are in Congress. That's wonderful. We have the greatest amount of women in Congress than we ever did. We have, I believe her last name is Ocasio from New York, who's in Congress. You know, it's no longer elderly white men who are WASP, white, uh, uh, non-Jewish uh, uh, people running the government. Uh, and we can be very nationalistic when it comes to other people's in the country. Look at what's going on with the wall. Wow, a political video. I didn't want to go there, but look at what's going on with the wall. Uh, our present administration wants the wall because of his bigotry, because of his being a president who is prejudiced, and because not because of the amount of money that he has in a bank account, is because of what his father was, a great, I don't mean great like he's fantastic, but a person who had a plethora amount of real estate and capital. In fact, the president is so wrapped up in being racist that he didn't even adhere to his mother, who was a poor Scottish woman who came to this country and who worked as a maid for I think 5 years before she ever met and married uh, uh, Trump. That's what I'm talking about. And when Donald Trump became president, it was a long time before he even put a picture of his mother, who was Scottish and who came to this country as a maid, because he was more proud of his father, who was a real estate tycoon. Uh, Yeah, sorry about that. And my stance is as a black man in this country, my stance is um, I think that I'm very liberal. I don't care what color skin you're wrapped in. Uh, I come from a very mixed background myself, but when I look through my eyes, I look through my eyes as a black man, and I've been to other countries, so I consider myself international. I look at Asia, I look at what's going on with uh, Korea and with Japan and with China and their and with Mexico and their trade agreements, and and the things that we project to other countries, like we're the police of the world, America, not me, in that we tell other countries what to do, but yet we don't do it. We want nuclear proliferation, but we don't cut back on our nuclear bombs and all the stuff that we have that we use very covertly. The CIA does very covertly, uh, and that other countries have, but we want to tell North Korea to cut back on their nuclear prowess, and it's all right to do that, but we don't do it. We want to have trade agreements with China. We feel that China taxes us too much, but there are other countries that we do that to, and we call other countries third world countries, um, even though we might back them. So I'm going to get to your question because I did see that you put something down. You wrote something down there, but I think that the world, or let's say the United States, could be much more modern than what it is. I think that a lot of the kids, I call them kids, would be a lot more happy because they don't know how to. A lot of people, a lot of guys really do know how to elaborate themselves and not be in a vein of being violent because they want certain things to happen and they don't know how to project themselves. Because in this country, if you project yourself and you do something violent, you go to jail, obviously. But it's not talked about that this person is feeling inferior because of what's going on in his or her neighborhood with gentrification, where it could be a Latino neighborhood or a Black neighborhood or what have you. And we have our stores and our culture, and that's beautiful. But then white people start moving in, gentrification, and they come into our neighborhoods. And it's not owned by us exclusively. I'm not saying that we own every brick and mortar out there as Black people, but like Harlem, right? So they come into Harlem, they buy up the brownstones and this stuff. They have their little families with 1.2 kids, and they'll pass us on the street and they won't speak. We could say good morning, good afternoon, how are you? And they look at us as if we're a sub creature, and they won't adhere that we're human beings. And I guess for younger people, that bothers them. It doesn't bother me because I'm very much aware that you know better than I am. You know, like I said before, we all go to the bathroom, we all stink, we all have to eat, we all do these things. We're very much similar. We speak the same languages. We want the same thing out of life and education and this, that, and the third. So what makes you better than I am? Because you have X amount of dollars in your bank account, because you have a maybe a $65,000 car that's sitting out on the street, or because you can go to Europe uh, twice every year, every 6 months, or whatever the situation is, you know, or that you can date your lineage back to the Mayflower, you know, or you think that you are have bloodlines, blood ties to the royal family. Uh, you know, what makes a person think that they're better than anyone else? You know, because maybe we work at the same job and you're my boss, and we live in the same neighborhood, but because you're my boss, now you're not going to speak to me, but we live in the same neighborhood, and you've purchased a brownstone where I don't have the finances to do that. But my thing is gentrification is awful because, and it's happened in my old neighborhood. I used to live 152nd Street and Riverside Drive. Until the early 80s, um, it was mostly guys that were moving into our neighborhood, and we'd be jogging and passing each other in the street, and we'd say good morning, and they didn't speak. And uh, these were guys who were a little bit older than I was, or a little bit younger, or like it was my mother speaking to another woman, not speaking to a man, because I understand the issue there between kind of between the sexes. But um, I don't understand. Gentrification is something that I don't understand, because you're buying up a certain real estate, and you're able to fix up that particular brownstone or building where you are now living, and is maybe you've brought with you 5 or 10 different people of your same race, and that's all right. But now you're living in a building with Black and Hispanic people, and you don't speak to anybody. You don't converse with anybody. You're downstairs doing the laundry with everybody else, and and it's not that you're on your cell phone, is that you really are oblivious to anybody else around. So gentrification for me is something that I don't like. And I'm not saying for Black people to live in a ghetto, and ghetto means, because there's different connotations of what ghetto is. When you use the word ghetto, it means that one particular person lives in a neighborhood. In Germany in the 1920s, 1930s, they called them ghettos. The Nazis called them ghettos because there were predominantly Jewish people in it, living in a block, a radius of 2 blocks or 3 blocks or what have you. It was a neighborhood. There were only uh, Jewish people living there, so they called it a ghetto. It's a Yiddish word. So if you have a neighborhood like the Lower East Side, it can be a Latino ghetto where only Latino people live, whether you're Cuban or Puerto Rican or Dominican. So that's a type of ghetto. Then you have Harlem, and it was a type of ghetto, not because the buildings were deteriorated, or not because there was garbage outside where there wasn't garbage collection as much as it should have been, is because there's one type of people living there. So gentrification is, I think it's wrong, because you get people in from all different types of different states and stuff like that, but they come in and they are rude. They don't speak. They use the same everything, facilities, everything as the rest of us. And I'm off on a tangent, but that's kind of the videos that I make. Sorry, but so let me read what you said. Yeah, it's a great view to hold, but I'm not an angry man, and it's very easy. I think I'm not angry because one of my background, because not because of a mixed background, is because my mom grew up during a time of severe segregation, and she was never an angry woman. She was never a bitter woman. Tangent. Yeah. I don't really understand the intricacies of politics, but I have my own views about stuff. I could never go out there and run as a politician, even though I do have a video that says elect me as a president. But I don't understand the ins and outs of policies. I would not know how to get 10 people to go to work if they've never worked, they're just out of college, or they're on welfare, and to do the job market. I wouldn't know how to propagate that. I wouldn't know what to say to Kim Jong Un to get him to merge back with South Korea, because North and South Korea are separated. They're getting together now, but I don't know how I would go about doing that. I don't know how I would deal with the trade deficit insofar as China and Mexico are concerned. I don't know what I would do about the wall. I don't know what I would do about South America and Central America. I have my own concepts of things that bother me, and I'm always in here when the television was on and kind of arguing with the TV about things. And this is kind of a platform for me to express or expound about my political concepts. But I could never be the governor. I could never be the mayor. And sure as hell, I don't think I could be a president. They go through too much. But anyway, let's change the situation here. You said you wanted to ask me questions, and so I'm open to that. I'm going to really kind of wrap it up because I'm getting hoarse uh, now, and I never thought that I'd come on and do a 2-hour video, right? But I'm having such a great time. I'm having such a ball being on and being able to. You'd gladly vote for me. Well, I have to keep that in mind. And also it's also about begging for money. Like when these politicians go out and they've decided that they've had 2 years as a mayor or 6 years as governor or whatever the situation is. Shaun, 2020. That would be a lot of fun for me. I would be able to talk and be a bigger ham than what I am now. You know, um, I want to say, because I mentioned a woman president, and I have videos about Oprah being president, Michelle Obama being president. I like that Hillary Clinton didn't get to be president. Why? I think that a lot of people were. She's a snowstorm. She is the biggest snowstorm to come down the pike in a lot of years, where she seems copacetic now. She seems like a really great modern woman. She'd be in there and be a great president. And everybody that needed their issues, Black people would get their policies in, Latinos would get their policies in. I think that she would have a platform for like everything, right? But she's a loose cannon. I think within a year's time, she would not adhere to policies the way the way she would be told to do it. Like I told you, there are 12 executive officers over the president that tells the president what to do. I think that she would not adhere to that. I think that insofar as, just take an example, Kim Jong Un, I think that she would go to war with North Korea. I think that she would take all of our military out of the Middle East and bring them over to the West Coast, and we would be fighting in the Sea of China, you know, uh, insofar as Korea is concerned. And you have to be modern at this time. You can't go by 1940s, 1950s mindset and be racist. You have to talk to people. You have to understand that people now and governments now are very much modern, where they're thinking about 10, 20, 30 years down the pike, insofar as their people eating, their survival of their culture, that that their language doesn't get to be uh, a watered down language with English. And I say that because France went through that in the 1980s, where we were so big in France that they were calling things lay computer, lay, ay, lay CD-ROM, lay this, lay that, and using an English term, and they had to go back and um, formulate French words for like computer, which is les ordres. It has something. It sounds like to put things in order. I forget how it's spelled and the pronunciation of it. Um, and they had to go back and reissue the French language, and everybody had in France had to learn how to speak proper French, because the government complained that their language was becoming a watered down French slash English language, and they didn't want that, justifiably so, right? So you have to think in modern terms. You have to think that people are in detrimental states coming from South America and Mexico, um, and other Latin American countries, where they have 100% of uh, crime going on in their particular countries, and they're coming to America not to take away jobs from people, but to have the basic things that everybody wants or needs: good health care, good prenatal, which is health care, uh, food on a regular basis, clean clothes, not to women to be able to walk the street without them being raped or sexually harassed, um, to be able to have a higher platform of education. Not to just go to the sixth grade and have to come out and have to work um, in the fields, or whatever people do to make ends meet. So that's why people come to America, whether you're coming from South America, if you're coming from Africa, if you're coming from Ireland, if you're coming from anywhere, is to have a better way of life, because we always promoted that. Uh, but then when people started coming to the US en masse, we didn't want it. Well, white people didn't want it because they have their issues. But uh, like I said in another video, if you we claim to be a very godly country, but in actuality, a lot of times we are not, because we subjugate the meek. We don't we speak a good game of healthcare, and of of people coming to this country and having a wonderful life. But when they start doing that, we don't want the world. A lot of people don't. It doesn't have anything to do with me. Well, a lot of people don't want other people here, especially if you're brown. They don't want that. It's easier. Let me tell you something. It's easier for a Russian person, a non-Jewish Russian person, to come to America, or an Irish person to come to America and live without um, without papers, than it is for a Mexican, or a person from an African country, or just a brown person coming from any country, India, coming from here. They have to have everything, insofar as paperwork is concerned, to live here, where it's very easy for Russian and Irish and German people to come here. If they want to come here and stay, they come and they go to school, and they drop through the grade, and they can live here X amount of years and not have a social security card, and still work, still go to school. So there is that level of policy that goes on. But again, let's get away from the politicalness of things. Back on a tangent. Yeah. Well, ask me questions, ask me questions. But I think I'm going to really wrap it up. But I loved being online with you guys. I am so grateful that number one, I was able to do this because I tried a couple of times and I couldn't get on the platform. I couldn't get the the visuals to work. I deleted they were up on YouTube, but I deleted them because they were only audio. You could only hear my voice. You couldn't see me. So I'm gonna woo. I'm gonna work on my voice. I'm gonna work on a different subject on some subjects, and I'll probably come back on Tuesday, maybe live, maybe not, and talk about some subjects. Um, and and if you have anything that specifically that you want me to kind of work on insofar as subjects are concerned, I'll do as much research as I possibly can do. Do you have any kind of significant other? No, I don't. And I laugh about that because, I'm real down to earth. I'm real honest. And I hate to put people in a category, but I kind of think that for the most part, people are not uh, as good as the paper that they were born on. What do I mean by that? Um, like I'm real monogamous in being in a situation or a romance or whatever it is, and I give uh, what I think is great conversation, but I'm a better listener, believe that or not, and you know, affectionate and stuff like that. But I don't have anybody, and I've gotten to the point where I've been alone for X amount of years now. Well, there's got to be a special someone out there for you. I think not, and that's all right. I say that I'm not lonely, um, but and but the computer right now is my best friend, and the television is my best friend. Um, and I like it that way because I don't go to clubs anymore. I don't go to restaurants. Um, uh, uh, the things that I want to do, like I wanted to go to the Puerto Rican Day Parade, I didn't do that. Um, uh, what do you call it? Movies. Uh, Sometimes I just like to go out and sit and at 14th Street and just like chillax. I find that I don't do that. Just keep flying so low. Then I suppose. Um, yeah, because who is it out there for me? There's no. I think that there's nobody out there for me. And like I say, it's all right. Uh, I I think that I'll survive. Um, but like I said, I'm not as talkative as I am on air. I'm a great. I'm a much better listener. 100%. I'm very affectionate. And I like to experience things like I like the museum. I like educational things, cultural things. I think like Broadway is it was too expensive, but I like travel and stuff like that. And, being up and funny and making jokes and all of that. And it takes a two-way street. It takes a lot of learning. You have to learn a person also. And, I think that in our modern times that we don't take the time out to learn people, and vice versa. If I'm walking down the street with you and you're doing one of these things, you're into your cell phone and you're texting somebody. I'm right next to you. Why are you texting somebody? But that's just me. And I don't know if that's because it's just me or is it because I'm old fashioned. you know, I would never have the audacity to walk down the street and be texting with somebody when I'm walking next to anybody. I just have never done that. But anyway, that's just me. Um, yeah, so I'm going to close now because it's probably going on 2.5 hours. Uh, But again, very appreciative to everybody that came out. Thank you so much for supporting me in this channel. Had a great rest of the day. I will, you do too. And I'll see you again real soon. Thanks so much for participating, and I'll see you again hopefully Tuesday. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.